Hi, and thank you for clicking and watching this video. In this video, I'm going to share with you some tips and techniques on how to solve average related word problems that usually appears in different examinations here in the Philippines, such as the board exam for teachers or the LET, civil service examination, entrance examination in different colleges and universities, as well as aptitude tests and achievement tests. So now to get straight to the tips and techniques, let me share with you the featured problem. So it says here, the average of 7 numbers is 24, the smallest of the numbers is 2, and the largest is 31. What is the average of the middle 5 numbers? I actually got this problem from an online source that features review questions, and here I have also included the options or the choices. For letter A, it's 25, B is 26, C is 27, and D is 28. Now, firstly, as we usually do in solving word problems, we have to first understand, or to understand first, what is being asked in this type of problem. And it is clear here that we are asked of the average of the 5 middle numbers. So there are 7 numbers for our data set, and we only know 2 of the 7 numbers, and these are the smallest and the largest of the 7 numbers, namely 2 and 31. And we need to find the average of the 5 middle numbers. We're not asked to find the actual value of the middle numbers. We're just here to find the average of those 5 middle numbers. So we're good because we have the average of the 7 numbers. Now, the first thing that you can do in this type of problem, if you encounter this type of problem, similar to what I did in the past, is to use the choices or the options in this question. So we have 4 options. We can take each of the 4 options and try to test if we can arrive at the correct answer. But how do we do that? Firstly, we need to recall the concept of average. So what is average in the first place? So average is basically called the mean, or if it's in probability distribution, it's also called the expected value or the weighted mean. So but in descriptive stat, it simply means the quotient of the sum of the values in the data set divided by the number of data in the data set. In symbols, it is the summation of x being, or x denotes the values, or the values in the data set divided by the number of values. So that is basically the definition of an average. We need to add all the numbers or all the values in the data set, and then we divide it by the number of values. Okay, so given the problem that we have, we can actually fill in some pieces of information in our formula. So we can we know that there are 7 numbers, so we can replace n by 7. So that should be summation of x over 7 is equal to 24. 24 because we know that 24 is the average of the 7 numbers. Now, using the multiplication property of equality, or we can also do the cross multiplication, we can find the summation of x, or the sum of the values in our data set. So let me solve for the summation of x. So that should be summation of x is equal to 24 times 7, and 24 times 7 is 168. Now we know that the summation, or the total, or the sum of the values of our data set is 168. We can use this and also use the options to find the average of the 5 middle numbers. So let me go back to the options that we have. So for our option A, we have 25. So if we have 25 as the summation of x, we can have, no, that should be, if we have 25 as the average of the 5 middle numbers, we can simply input that in the summation of x, and let us check if we actually get 168 using the 25 as the average of the 5 middle numbers. So that should be summation of x is equal to, so in this case we will be using the option A, 25, and since this is the average of the 5 middle numbers, we can safely multiply this by 5 to get the sum of the 5 middle numbers. So that's 25 times 5 plus, okay, we will add the two given numbers, the smallest and the largest, and these are 2 plus 31. And so we know that the summation of x is 168 as we had it solved earlier. So let's check if we can get 168 also by simplifying 5 times 25, that is equal to 125 plus 2 plus 31. And let's continue to add. 168 is it equal to, what's 125 plus 2? That's 127 plus 31 is 158. So this is not actually the correct answer. So it's not equal to 168. Let's take option B. So option B is 26. So let's try 26. So that should be summation of x is equal to 26 times 5 plus 2 plus 31. So is it equal to 168? 168 is the summation of x that we had solved earlier. So 26 times 5 is 130 plus 2 plus 31, and yeah, 130 plus 2 plus 31 will only give us 163. Thus this is not also the correct answer. Let's take letter C. Letter C is 27. So summation of x again is equal to 27 times 5 plus 2 plus 31. Does it equal to 168? So let us take 27 times 5 is 135 plus 2 plus 31 and indeed this is equal to 168. Hence, we can make a conclusion here. 27 is the average of the 5 middle numbers. It took us a few minutes to solve this because we had to take one option at a time. No? So, inisa-isa natin yung mga options. Now, this is just one of the many ways on how to solve this type of problem. Another way to do this is to use a model approach. No? But in this case, we can have so let's have a rectangular bar model, and I divided this into 7 equal parts because we are given with 7 numbers in our data set. Now, since the average of these 7 numbers is 24, I make an assumption that I will be putting or inputting 24 in each of the unit in this rectangular bar model. So there are 7 units, so each has a value of 24 because that is what is being reflected in the problem, particularly the average. However, now we can adjust this value based on our given 2 numbers, which are the smallest and the largest. So instead of having 24 here, this is no longer 24, but this is what? This is 20. This is 2. This is the smallest among the 7, and the largest would be 31. So I'll be replacing the last 24 here. Now I prefer to have the largest at the end and the smallest at the first unit of this model. So now we have 2, and at the middle we have 5 units with 24 each with 24 as the value, and yung dulo ay, or the last unit is 31. Now what can we do after having this bar model or this model? We can do the adjustment. Okay, so how do we check, or how do we adjust this model? So in the first unit, instead of having 24, we have 2. So 24, subtracting it by 2, here we are lacking with 22. Okay, let me change this one. Let me do the reverse. So I have 2 minus 24. This will give me an appropriate number, which is negative 22. Now I purposely do this because negative denotes that there is lacking. On the other hand, the 31 here is or marks or tells us that there is an excess. So let us check the value of the excess. So 31 minus 24, and this will give us 7. So we have an excess of 7, and we're lacking with negative, or we're lacking with 22. Now adding these two, negative 22 plus 7 will give us negative 15. So still we lack 15. Now to compensate, I actually call this as the compensation technique in solving for average related word problems. So we need to compensate for the lacking 15. How do we do that? Since we are left with 5 numbers at the middle, which we don't know the specific value or values, we can divide this 15 so that we can equally distribute this to the 5 middle numbers. We can divide this 15 by 5. Now I'm going to divide 15, so that should be negative 15 divided by 5, that is equal to negative 3. So this, we lack negative 3, or we lack 3, so we need to compensate for the lacking, or the 3 na kulang natin doon sa ating problem. So what do we do? Instead of subtracting 3, since kulang yan, we will be adding 3 doon sa 5 middle numbers. So adding 3, to 24 will give us 27, and this would be across the 5 numbers. 27, 27, 27. Okay, that should be it. So we have 5 numbers at the middle, which are all 27, and let us check if we still get the average of 24, or we get the sum, or the summation of x, which is 168. So let us try to check. We can do this by that should be summation of x is equal to 27 times 5 plus 2 plus 31. And what do we have here? Summation of x is equal to, what is 27 times 5? That gives us 135 plus 2 plus 31, and this all is equal to 168. Hence 27 is the average of the 5 middle numbers. I hope you're able to follow the steps. I featured 2 techniques here. One is making use of the options or the choices, and the other one is to use the compensation technique. So with this, I hope you learned something. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel of mine. God bless us.